Your Forma Volume 2 review. Back in September 2022, I reviewed the first volume of the sci-fi police procedural Your Forma. Since the series has had an anime adaptation announced and Yen Press has begun releasing the manga adaptation. But today, I'm here to return to the source material with Volume 2 to find out if it continues to prove an interesting series. In the first book, we are introduced to electronic investigator Echika Hiida and her amigos, an artificial human, partner Harold, as they solve a case together. Echika work during her complex feelings toward Amicos, and Alejandro Harold still pushes her buttons. The two are an accomplished detective duo. As we reunite with the two at the beginning of Volume 2, we find them about to getting wrapped up in a new case in London. Her peer people are being assaulted by Amicos that look just like Harold, and the attacks seems to be connected to the RF models. The RF models of Amicos were three units given to the Queen of England. One was Harold, another was Steve, who was the culprit behind the crimes in the first book, and the third was Marvin, who's thought to have gone missing and presumably is no longer working. After the events of the previous book, they have been called to shut down Harold in case he goes rogue like Steve. Echika and her department are adamantly against this, but with these new allegations, it's proving difficult to protect him. Echika is certain Harold isn't a criminal, but if not him, it must surely be Marvin. As the investigation continues, our heroine is forced to learn and face facts about amigos that she never dreamed of. She may no longer have these artificial humans, but how far is she willing to go to protect her partner? If the first installment of Your Forma was Echika's story, then this one is all about Harold. Here we finally learn about the history of the RF models as well as meet their creator Professor Carter. We learn why these models act so much more human-like, and what we have led to Steve going so far as to protect a human. And sometimes an amicus is supposed to be able to do. These are the pieces of the puzzle we were missing in Volume 1. Their details indeed matter in that case, but which are important going forward, it will determine the relationship between Harold and Ichika. While this whole series story serves as character development and history for Harold is also a compelling mystery in its own right. I didn't fortunately figure it out quite early on, but that didn't take away from the fun of watching our main characters figure it out. Author Mahiro Kikuchi is proving skillful at writing stories and hook you emotionally, which helps keep you invested even if you do figure out the culprits ahead of time, and that there's a change of scenery from America to the UK. As readers may remember from Volume 1, Your Forma takes place in an alternate future, but despite that, there's still plenty that will be familiar to those of us living here. This includes the popularity of tabloid newspapers, as well as a somewhat stereotypically gruff personality of the detective in charge of the investigation. And the author also sneaks in a reference to Sherlock Holmes, repeating to what stories set in the mystery genre I feel, rather than the author taking us to England for the sake of it. This feels like a development that was always likely to happen given the fact that our models were originally gifted to the Queen of England. Now that we know the history about Ichika and Harold, I'm looking forward to seeing where things go from here. It would be nice to see them solve a case, and that's directly tied to their past, our feelings, and if Kikoishi can pull it off. I believe readers eager to return for as long as the series continues. I mean, who can say no to good buddy cop drama? Certainly not me. As previously mentioned, Your Forma Volume 2 comes to the West thanks to Yen Press and it continues to be translated by Roman Lampert. The translation reads well with no issues to note. Volume 3 of the series is already available in English with Volume 4 set for release in September. Overall, Your Forma Volume 2 shows us the history of the RF model of Amicus, which answers quite a few questions readers are sure to have had since the first book. If the series can remain as compelling as the first two entries have been to the fourth feature Luke, subscribe for this one. A review copy for Yen Press was applied by Book Distributors UK, 9 out of 10.